I'd also like to explore my name, knowing that we choose our name. My first name is Seth. I mean, as I've researched that, I know the biblical story of Cain and Abel, and Cain slew Abel, and then Seth is the third son, who in the Bible, the bloodline of humanity continues from Seth. And from what I can understand, translated from Hebrew, it means the appointed one, or to put, to substitute. What can you say about the sort of vibrational meaning of this name?
Yeah. Yes, that's an appropriate way to look at it, by the way. Yes, yes. Another way you can look at it is by drawing the connections to Egypt, if you simply remove the H.
Yes. And from what I understand, Set is the Egyptian god of storms and chaos and war.
Yes, yes, yes. So this can also be a metaphor for the idea of what you would consider to be inner turbulence. So the key is to recognize that both of these meanings are true simultaneously. For the appointed one, the chosen one in that sense, is one whom is able to lead people through chaos, to lead people through turbulent times, to lead people through storms. This is something we were going to say earlier. However, we are happy we reserved it for now. Your north node points to this. So you're familiar with the concept of what has been described as your Age of Aquarius, yes?
Yes.
So you're moving into this age right now. You're leaving the Age of Pisces, and you're moving into the Age of Aquarius. You're sort of in an in-between point as a people. You're in the process of birthing that new eon. That's a storm. As you can clearly see in your world, it is a storm. Mm-hmm. Your power that we have mentioned earlier can enable you to lead yourself and others through that. That's what's needed more than ever right now. For, as you know, your society is becoming more technological, which is wonderful in many ways, but also has some trade-offs in that your society is becoming less physically connected to one another and is becoming less environmentally conscious. And in many ways, is becoming less spiritually conscious. Now, we're not talking about all of you. We're talking about what you would call the trend of unconsciousness. That's the type of trend that it is currently expressing as. So, one of your abilities is to assist people in moving through this time, transitioning through this time with grace, with love, with flow. Your name is reflecting this. Your name is reflecting that because you are, in a sense, we're speaking metaphorically here, the god of storms and war and chaos, it's almost like you know these things. So you can move through it. It's not other. If it were other, how do you move through that? It's too mysterious. You don't know it. But if it's a dimension of you, you can move through it. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And this idea of Cain and Abel and then Seth being the third son, which I am the third son in my family, bringing up to me this idea of transcending the duality and the conflict between people, and that right now in our earth, there's a lot of conflict. To me, it seems like if we had a deeper understanding, there would be no conflict.
Yes, that is absolutely a necessary ingredient. Yes. Understandings come from true experience. That is the thing to keep in mind, because ideas oftentimes will be shared, but they bounce off of people because of the egoic armor. So there might be an intellectual understanding of something, as many of you say, but there's not a deep felt understanding. So when you supplement understandings through sharing experiences, through sharing wisdom, you help people to intellectually grasp these things. That's not worthless. That's important, because that which exists within the intellect will densify from the mental to the astral, from the astral to the etheric, and then finally from the etheric into the physical. And that's where the true understanding is had.
For my last name or family name, it's Balthazar. And when I've looked that name up, it seems to mean God protect the king or Baal protects the king. And it also, there's some people say that one of the three wise men in the Bible who visited baby Jesus, his name was Balthazar. I haven't been able to find out that much about this name, but I wonder what you can say.
Yeah. There is another parallel here between the idea of being the third son and the three dynamic connected to this name in relationship to it being one of the names of the three wise men. So it has to do with, in many ways, being a foundational component to the structure of existence. That's what it's referring to. That's how this name, in a sense, is able to protect the king, you could say. Because if you were to think of it like a structure, this name is implying that the one who has that name is an integral part of that structure that prevents it from collapse. And it keeps the foundation healthy and strong. So there's also a link here, as you had mentioned, to the entity or deity that has been described as Baal. This is not a negative entity or deity. It is simply a symbol of divinity. It's a symbol of power that was, in a certain way, seen as a rival to the Abrahamic tradition of what you would call Judaism. But it's not that these things are mutually exclusive. It's just another interpretation. It's another depiction of that Yahweh figure. So there's also a link here to the idea of what you would call the divine mind. So these symbols you've surrounded yourself with are designed to awaken you to what you would describe as divine royalty. And that has to do with the idea of recognizing that you are here to support and nourish and grow your kingdom. That's what it is to be a true royal. You recognize you are responsible for the well-being, really, of the entire existence. Because without you cultivating that well-being within yourself, it's so much harder for the world around you to create that. It's like they have to do it without you. And because you are everything condensed into a person, your power truly matters. The energy you share truly matters. So this name is referring to that dimension of fundamental quality, that without you, in that sense, the picture is incomplete. Without you drawing upon your deep inner wisdom and power, the world is darker.
Yeah, this king archetype in the, I think in the Arthurian legends, there's the Fisher King who they say that the king is one with the land. And if the king is unhealthy, then the land is unhealthy. So I guess it's a similar thing there.
It is absolutely the case because you are that king. You all are in your own reality.